Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Ready Bet Action. I am your host, Stefan Laco, joined by the great Eric Doran, my co-host. He will be co-piloting this thing. We are excited to be here. Eric, how the hell are you doing today, man? Before we jump in, let's get to it. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing so good today. I'm excited we're finally getting this off the ground. This is something we've been wanting to do, and I'm so excited to get this going, especially with football coming up. We're just getting warmed up and excited to make some bets. I'm going to Vegas this weekend, so I am all in the mood to talk about betting.
I love it. Yeah, so this is your one-stop shop for all things betting. That's not really true. This is probably going to be the very longest episode we ever do. Our kind of philosophy is we want to get our listeners betting information, betting odds and boosts and all that stuff from all the major platforms in a hurry, quick and simple without all the talk. There are some amazing podcasts and articles and all kinds of stuff that you can dive into if you want the nitty-gritty, if you want to know the DVOA of, whatever defensive line, Tulane, whatever. You can find all that. We're not here for that. We're here to give you quick, actionable betting advice and just get you on your way. That's what we're here to do, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Some of you might know me from my work over at RotoViz, where I am a podcast host. I do a lot of writing of articles for fantasy football, for college football, and we're going to take some of that expertise, some of that knowledge. We're going to help you guys out. Eric's been betting for as long as it's been legal in Colorado. Eric, why don't you give the people some background as to kind of why you got into this?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I just think betting makes sports more fun. Like, it's just more fun to have action on something when your team's not involved. I have my teams. You're gonna see me make some homer picks. Went to University of Colorado.
I believe that will be a segment, actually. Eric's homer picks.
Segment. Yep. You'll see me on the Broncos, the Nuggets. Like, you will see me as a total homer. But betting makes sports more fun. You can bet on anything. It just makes the games more interesting. That's how I got into it. Honestly, I think me and you really got into it during COVID a few years ago, even more. Like, we were before, but then it really accelerated because it was something to do at home while you're sitting in your room by yourself.
I think that's how we found ourselves betting on. I believe you started getting into betting on Japanese baseball, I believe it was at the time.
Korean baseball. Korean baseball was the first thing to open back up, and I was on it. That's right.
I love it. Yeah. So yeah, basically, if there's something you can bet on, we're going to be talking about it. Not every day. We're not going to force bets that we don't like, but we do the research anyway. We bet all the time anyway. I do it for work. So we're just going to share the information that we're having, the plays that we like, how we're, managing our bankroll, essentially what we're doing with our own bets. We're going to let you guys in on some of that. We're going to cover everything. We're going to talk about soccer. Eric and I are already deep in with he's been riding this Inter Miami train. Crystal Palace got me a nice win over the weekend, but we're into it. Like, we love all the sports. We're big hockey fans. Baseball, not so much, but everything else, maybe not baseball. But it's going to be a good time. What are some of the segments that people can expect from us kind of moving forward, Eric? What is a week in the life of Ready Bet Action look like?
Yeah, we're super excited to give some really creative options. I think options that are also super digestible and quick. You're 10 minutes before a game and you don't know what to bet, and you can just pop up our picks and make this super easy instead of listening to a 40-minute podcast to try to pick out someone's picks, which happens on a lot of these, betting shows. So from us, you're going to see a lot of the obvious stuff. We'll give you what most people call locks. We're also going to give you some really creative, like, same game parlays. Might dive into some futures, although that's not exactly my area of expertise, but sometimes those are fun and obvious to bet on. And probably daily fantasy lineups too. Like, that's just some really fun stuff to dive into, especially with football season coming up. So we want to give you some really creative picks, and then we want to point out just maybe some of the obvious stuff that's out there for you, so you don't have to go do your own research. You can just pop on here. We'll give you a quick explanation for why we think the pick we're making is, the most obvious one of the day, and you can go place that bet and hopefully take that to the window, right?
Right. Yeah, and I think too, like, there's going to be lots of different ways to consume all this content. We're going to have our, not quite daily, but almost daily show that'll be in podcast and on YouTube. But then we also have a bunch of videos that we'll be pushing out on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, excuse me, on X. And you can follow along at Ready Bet Action on all of these platforms. So if you just want like a 30-second or less video that shows you like, oh, these are the picks, these are the places where I can find the best odds, like we're going to give you that in like really digestible, super quick formatting, which will be fantastic for you, save you time. One of the segments that I like that we're going to try to do like on the daily is just let you know like what are the books offering as far as daily boosts. Now I know some of you guys are betting thousands and tens of thousands of dollars on these, so maybe these $50 boosts don't do it for you. I still like getting a 100% boost from DraftKings on a random baseball game. You can really leverage your bankroll that way, especially if you have multiple accounts. There's a lot of different ways to leverage those against each other and also just maximize your profits. So instead of having to like go into 5 different apps like I do every morning to see, oh, who's giving me the best odds, who's giving me these boosts, we're going to provide those for you. So you can just jump on TikTok, you can check our posts, and you'll know right away where to go for those boosts. And that's one of the segments that, I'm doing that anyway. I may as well share it with all of you guys so that we can kind of enjoy that together and maximize our winnings.
Yeah, and you'll hear us talking units a lot. So whether you're a person who's betting $1 or $1,000, hopefully this show is for you. And I think that being able to take advantage, if you're new to this, you're trying to, as sports betting becomes more legal in more states, and you're just trying to figure out what's right, start with, $1 bets, $5 units, just because someone else's units are way more than yours doesn't make your bet any less legitimate. It's a great way to learn. We're going to talk in units. So the more units we're putting on something, the more confident we are in it. And but like Steve said, some of these boosts, it's still fun just to go take advantage of the boost. You might as well go get free money. Even if $25 is the max bet, that might not be a lot for you, but hey, you get an extra $25 because you won that bet. So we'll be talking in a lot of different angles here.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to get into, I know like BetMGM and Caesar, sometimes they do these crazy, like one specific player to hit a home run. Like we're not going to give you all those. We're going to give you the main ones because come on now. No one has time for all that, but it's going to be great. I'm really excited for that. It's going to really kind of help people utilize those boosts. Another thing we'll do, we will have some longer standing episodes from time to time. We will bring in guests. One of the great perks of working for RotoViz and being able to work on the back end, a lot of their stuff, is I know a lot of great industry experts. So we'll be bringing them in from time to time. Again, they'll still be shorter episodes, but, kind of look behind the curtain. I had Justin Perry on the RotoViz show a couple months ago for March Madness, and he just kind of broke down how he builds out his models to kind of project games. And it was super fascinating, great way to learn. So we'll have those two. Those will probably be YouTube and podcast only. But, if that's not your thing, just skip on by it and you can get our picks. And about our picks, Eric, kind of what goes into you making a pick? What kind of research are you doing? What can the listeners kind of expect when they see your picks for the day, and what kind of confidence they can place in that? Because we're not going to lie to you. We're not going to get every pick right. Anyone who says they have like an 80% hit rate is lying to you or just giving you their best weekend ever. So we're not going to lie to you. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be honest. But kind of what's it look like for you in your process, Eric, as you're kind of going through and planning out your picks for a day or for a week?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, I'm always looking for value above everything else. So I don't like the house taking some of my money. I just don't. That doesn't mean I don't make bets that are like, money line is minus 130 and those kind of things. But I just don't really gravitate towards them. I try to make combinations. I try to pick games that I think are valuable, which get me closer to even money, above even money, those kind of things. Don't get me wrong. There's a place to make the obvious bet, and you're going to make money on the ones, even when the house is taking some of that from you. But in general, I'm looking for value. So I'm often in these apps combining things. I'll go back and research like what's a clever piece of the puzzle I can put in here to, make this parlay or the same game parlay work, or maybe not even a parlay. I look at everything. Let's say I'm looking at a basketball game. I will go look at, average assists for each team and steals and maybe bet things like that for a player prop as opposed to just going after points and totals and all of those things. So you really have to find what's best for you. And for me, it's kind of finding those little things to say, hey, the books haven't really seemed to catch up with the fact that this team is doing X, defensively, offensively. So let's keep writing this until they eventually catch up with it, which they usually do. But that's what I'm usually
But
looking for.
but it takes some time. And like we
It
were
does.
joking about Miami earlier in the show, and Eric, like from the second Messi signed with Inter, has just been every single game
Every game.
has been betting Miami to win, Messi to score. And every day I'm like, dude, yeah, it worked last game, but it probably won't work. And then every game, like the books just haven't caught up. And because at some point it'll be at a number that's not worth the value, but it hasn't gotten to that point yet. And so to that point, I think Eric's philosophy is there is not an event, a sporting event, that you can't find something to bet on. Like Eric
Yep.
will find that piece, whether it's some random backup guards assist prop. Like he will find it and he will let you know. So rest assured, there will be something to bet on almost every single day. I like to dive deep into like my favorite sports to bet on. My favorite sport to bet on is college football, just because the lines get crazy and the scoring gets out of control. And that's honestly where most of my expertise lies, working with RotoViz for the past 6 or 7 years. So I'm really excited for football season to come up, and you will hear a lot of football conversation, because that's also, I think, Eric's favorite sport. And so we'll be
Absolutely.
diving into a lot of that, but we do put in the research, we do put in the work, we run analytics, and I'm going to be straight with you. I listen to all the podcasts. I listen to everyone's best bets of the week. So it's not like you're just going to get me completely unbiased. Like, no, I use those other experts as a filter to see, okay, I will rarely bet someone else's play if I don't feel it too, but I like to use other experts as like, you know what? I think this dude has a great hit record and he agrees with what I'm kind of feeling on this game, what I've researched on this game. And so that goes into it as well. So again, instead of you having to listen to 16 podcasts like I do on the daily, you can just listen to us for 30 seconds and get your picks, knowing that we put in the research, we're listening, we're looking around, we're trying to find value for you guys. So I think that's really fun. I am excited to do some of the long form stuff too. I'd love to talk to you guys about leveraging your bankroll using multiple sports books, because that is something that I've done to just create a huge buffer, so that if I go on just a dead cold streak, I still know that by leveraging these sports books against each other, I'm still able to make some money, or at least stay even and not start sinking. So we'll talk about that. We'll get into some of the betting philosophies. We'll talk about some of the basics, like what does it mean to take a team total under? For some of you, that's super obvious. And for others, you're like, why would we want to bet that? Because you don't know how much money you can make on that just yet. But most of all, we want to have fun. You'll see that as we go. We are a couple of goofballs. We're nerds, but we're also, we just like to have fun. Hopefully
Yep.
that comes through in the show, and that comes through in our content. But yeah, we're really, really excited to bring you this. Ready Bet Action is something that we've been kind of talking about for a long time. And I don't know, what do you think it was that kind of initiated, like, let's do it now? Maybe the fact that I was unemployed for a while.
Oh yeah, you were unemployed. I live in the middle of the desert and am bored out of my mind. And this seemed like a great motivator to fill some time, if I'm being honest. And it's something we're passionate about. We've always talked about it. You don't always have time with families and life to go pursue a passion like doing something in sports. And so this seems like a really great way to be able to do something we really love and something we spend a lot of time doing anyways. So let's put our face out
Right.
there, and let's build a community of people who also love doing it. And so, yeah, even if the motivation was boredom and just needing a new project, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think we're gonna meet some cool people,
Right.
and we're all gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah. And that is also one of the goals, is to have winning records. I mean, we will be transparent. I'm not going to go like I'm not going to every day talk about yesterday's, but I will be keeping track of every one of our bets. We have a whole spreadsheet, which I love. So we will be getting that to you guys. So like, if you want to know, please hit us up. Again, you can follow me on Twitter or on all of them at Stay Fun Laco. And then please do follow us at Ready Bet Action. It's Eric and I will be super responsive. Eric, why don't you let people know where they can follow you? And why don't you throw those back on the screen? Why don't you?
Yep. Absolutely. So you can follow both of us on Twitter. And you got at Stefan Lico there. At X, I'm sorry. Oh man, I knew it. I even put it on the banner right. It's really bad. Yeah, mine's pretty simple. At Doran_Eric. That ever changes and I get more creative, I'll let you know. You can find me on Twitter. And then you'll also find me out there on TikTok posting a lot of our content, but that'll be on the main channel. But you can follow me out there too on my personal channel talking about some of this stuff as well.
Yeah, we're really excited. Again, thank you guys all for kind of joining us on this journey. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, if podcasts aren't your thing, if watching YouTube videos aren't your thing, please do just follow us on whatever your favorite social media app is, unless it's Snapchat, because I'm not getting into that because I don't even understand it. But all the other ones, we're there for you. You can follow us there, and you can get all of our picks, all of our advice, all of our insights, just quick in a nice little package, and help you kind of navigate your day quickly and get those bets in before having to, it took me 2 hours to do research in the first pitch. Again, we're not doing baseball much because baseball
absolutely not. Well, we're gonna need to bring someone else to talk about baseball betting, because that is not my favorite. Oh my gosh, please message us though. Message us, interact with us. We will be responsive. That's part of why we're doing this, is to build a fun community. So, message us, tell us we're crazy, tell us how much you hate our picks, tell us how much you love them, whether you won money or lost money, like whatever it is. If you lost, just don't be too angry about it. We all lose at some point. But yeah, just message us and interact with us. We're excited about it.
Thank you guys so much. Again, please do subscribe to the show. Follow us on all the things. We will be back with you with a much shorter episode very soon.